Awesome. Let's go ahead and start playing around a little bit. I'm going to share my screen. All right. So you will see, can you all see my screen now?
Yes.
All right. So you will see I have a bunch of tabs open and I'll kind of talk through the differences between them for right now, and then we'll do some playtime. So OpenAI AI is the um, parent of ChatGPT, which most people are familiar with. I like ChatGPT because it does better with documents a lot of the time. I've been having issues with it doing Word and PDF recently, but for the most part, like I've seen Bridget do some really sophisticated spreadsheets on it. And so I use it specific to when I have to produce something quite a bit. Claude AI, I feel like Claude is much more conversational, if that makes sense, but it's not great with exporting documents. So you have to do a lot of copying and pasting. And then Gemini, which is pretty popular. And I was at Afrotech, which is one of the largest Black tech conferences, about 6 months ago. And they talked about Gemini being one of the better platforms, like all around. I have not used Gemini a lot, but I have started using it a little bit more recently. And then I haven't really used Microsoft, even though for my personal life, I do have access to it. Um, and then I just wanted to lift up for those who are very leery of cybersecurity or have a lot of concerns in their organization, that Brave, which is a secure browser, Brave also has an AI option, and Brave is totally private. So when there are things that you want to search that feel a little bit more sensitive, just know that Brave is available for AI usage. And basically you go to the regular Brave search, and then you'll see this little icon, and then you can ask it to answer with AI. So it doesn't have like a separate Brave place to go. It's built within their browser. So I just wanted to give you kind of a just high level some of the tools that are available and that I've been playing around with. Any questions about the tools that are out there?
These are all you pay for each one?
Right now, I'm paying for Chat, Claude, and Gemini. I've just have only paid for Gemini for 1 month.
Okay.
I'm not sure that I'll be sticking with Gemini. I'm thinking about breaking up with Chat GPT and sticking with Claude, but I go back and forth between them quite a bit, so I'm not sure yet. Because at some point, it's even though it's cheaper than a staff person, it can get a little pricey if you are paying for all of them. Um,
Okay.
Brave, I'm not paying for at all, and so basically, if you're not paying for one of the tools, you're just limited in your searches, and they'll kind of cut you off if they're in high volume. But you can do some good things in the free, but what you can't do in most of the free is set up your custom GPTs, which is why I'm paying for the ones that I'm paying for. Awesome. I want to hop into the customization because that for me has been where the AIs have worked the best. So when you go into Chat GPT, and if you're in it, it'll be helpful for you to follow along. Um, when you click on the top right where your either your picture or the name of your org is, you will see customized Chat GPT and my GPTs. And so I went into customized GPTs, and when you click into there, you can give it some information about you. And this is the first place I went to really customize my voice. I didn't tell it to call me anything, but you can ask it to call you Miss Jackson if you're nasty. Like you can decide what you want it to call you. And it also you can tell it what you do. I did some of that later, but I'll walk you through. So the first question, the third question here is, what traits should ChatGPT have? And so I said, I speak in a style similar to Minda Harts and Tabitha Brown. So what I was trying to get it to understand is I don't speak in a formal way. And these are two kind of well-known, popular leaders that it should be able to kind of get the gist of what I mean by that. I also said my sentences should be appropriate for a 10th to 12th grade level. So even though most folks tell you to write from like a 7th to 10th grade maybe level, I like to write at a different level. I asked it to avoid jargon. I said be informal but not casual because sometimes it gets a little too casual for me. I said it's okay to break up content, but I like complete sentences. So I'm not a fan of like over relying on bullets and emojis. I do like it to sound like I speak. I said don't repeat yourself. So sometimes you notice the AIs can be repetitive and like they're trying to sound fancy, and I don't like that. I also said avoid fluff words like innovative or empowering, and instead provide examples of what it means to be those things. So I'd noticed in the outputs without my direction, it just always was saying things were empowering and innovative. And I was like, nobody talks like that all the time. And so I wanted it to give more examples of what it means to be empowering and innovative instead of using those specific words. And I built this out over time. So as I was getting familiar with the outputs, I started giving it more directives on what I wanted it to do and not do in the output. Any questions about the traits? All right. Then it gives you a chance to add some of these pre-populated um traits, but I chose not to use those. But you can, if it's easier for you, you can select some of these. And then it asks anything else ChatGPT should know about you. So I can tell you a little bit of what I did here. I went through and did a analysis of some of the meetings that I have recorded. So I asked my ChatGPT, tell me some of the themes of my work. Now you may know some of the themes of your organization. And then I wanted to give it those themes so it understood who my audience is and the things that they tend to ask me about and the things that we talk about. So in this box where it asks anything else, I said, I live in Houston. I'm a leadership coach to Black women. I provide strategic advising. So I'm telling it about the work that I do. I said, here are some of the common themes of my work and added that. And this is, again, an analysis. So I literally copied and pasted. And then for advanced, it gives me an option of like, what does it want to do in my searches? I wanted to search the web. Sometimes I want to try Dolly, which is the visual. I may want it to write some code, like if I want to update my website. So this is just giving it some more guidance about what I want available. Any other questions before I do a little demo? All right. So I hope you're like starting to populate some things, but I wanted to give you an example of what it means now when I ask it a question. So I might say, I have a client who wants a scope of work for leadership coaching, include some background on my work and how I can best serve them. So let's see what it will do. So what I like about this is it again is not using the words I asked it not to use. Um, and it's speaking in a way that I would speak when I talk to my clients. Now, I will give you a caveat. Some of the reason it is this clear is because of my custom GPT, but it's also because of the traits that I just told it that the output isn't saying, I'm going to empower leaders and I'm going to be an innovative coach. It didn't use any of that. So this makes it, and then I can go back and say, I don't like this response. I can come in and say, this is good, but I would like to have more examples of how I work with clients. And let's see if it can give me a better output. Already liking it better. I like the layout better. Giving examples. And then it gives how I do my work and the outcomes of my work, right? Because even as a coach and a consultant, just like as a nonprofit, people want to know the outcomes, right? Before they hire me in my work, they want to know what I'm successful at. And so I can feed the AI what is working about their output, what I wanted to tweak. I don't have to just go with the first answer. Any questions about this first demo? Y'all are very quiet. Reactions, curiosities before I show the custom GPT.
It looks fabulous.
Okay.
Wait, I have
Uh,
where do we go to customize the custom bot that you were just showing us earlier?
yep. So top right, mine says me.
Mhm.
And then you hit customize chat GPT. And then you can start to fill in your traits and then things it should know about you.
Got it.
Okay, thank you.
And I didn't talk about them, but the common themes are what it talks about: leadership and legacy of future leaders, experience as one of the only in their work, grieving expectations in their role, giving and receiving feedback, safety, facilitating leadership transitions, challenges of wanting accountability and grace. Those are all themes that my clients have talked about in our work, and it's giving those same outputs in the scope of work. And this is actually a scope of work that I could actually take something and do something with. All right. I'm going to move us to the custom GPT because that's really what is fueling a lot of this. So when you hit your top right icon and you hit my GPTs, this is where the magic happens. So I'll show you mine and then I'm going to build one with y'all today. And then I'm going to let some of y'all do some demos. So if you look at my GPT, it has my financials, so my balance sheet, my P&L, my business plan. This is my bio. This is my resume. I think some of these are 23 and 24 financials. And then under additional settings, I told it, I did not check. I'm sorry that this pencil is here. How do I move this pencil out of the way? I don't know how to move the pencil out of the way. this question says, use conversation data in your GPT to improve our models. I did not check that box. So I don't need it to use my searches on my custom GPT in their model. So the ways that AI works is it learns from the searches that you do. So on the free version, you don't have a chance to say, don't use my searches to improve the tool. But on the paid version, you can say, don't use my info to make this tool better. And so that's one of the benefits of the tool if you're concerned about things like privacy, et cetera, et cetera. So I do want to share that that is an important piece. So the reason my outputs are good is because I have provided a lot of background about my work. So I could say, use my financials to project my income for 2025. Not that I want to share my business, but I will for the purpose of this demo. So it's looking at all my income and it's going to say, this is how much you're bringing in a month. This is your low month. This is your high month. And then based on that, these are things I should think about. Holiday slowdown, I learned that in my first year of business. When do things tend to pick up? Absolutely consistent, right? So this allows me to then go to my spouse and say, okay, here's the month's income going to be down. Here's the month's income going to be up. We can plan accordingly. And I would say the same thing for your nonprofit. You could put your 990s in here and say, do a forecast for us for the next 3 years. And I've done that with nonprofits, right? And let it do some analysis. And then you and your CPA or your bookkeeper can look at that and see, does that track with what they have projected, right? I had a small nonprofit leader who hates to do budgets, right? It takes her a month to do her annual budget because she's not great with numbers. She's not confident with numbers. And I was like, okay, let's use ChatGPT to do your first draft of your budget. And then you can do the second pass. And then the third pass, you can pass it to the treasurer of your board or pass it to your accountant. And then they can do the final budget. It made it go faster. It took a lot of the anxiety off and it saved her time. Right. So there are many reasons that the GPTs being customized can allow us to bring efficiencies into our work, even though we don't have staff. I don't have an operations person to do this projection so that I can plan for how the finances will go for the year. Right? So it's making assumptions that I'll have modest growth this year. It's assuming I have a steady client base. That digital products could add more scale. That's one of my top priorities for this year. So that makes sense. And then it doesn't include, I didn't do any large projects last year. And I don't tend to apply for grants in my business. So those could be opportunities. Ironically, I got an RFP yesterday. So I might want to pursue that RFP if I want to move from modest growth to more aggressive growth. And then it can break down analysis even more. Like it can let me know, where am I spending my money, that I should maybe make some different decisions or do some scenario planning, right? If the economy gets worse and people aren't spending money on professional development, what should I be thinking about, et cetera, et cetera. You can do the same thing for your nonprofit. Any questions about the custom GPT and how it works, how to build? And yes, Regina, I will we'll share the recording for folks. Yes. All right. Are folks ready to try to build their custom GPT? gonna take your silence as a yes. All right, we're gonna go back out. And we're gonna make one. All right. So I'm gonna hit my GPT. So click the top right circle, hit my GPTs, and then you're gonna hit create a GPT. So I have an organization that I'm gonna make this for, just like I would make it for y'all.
Kelly, sorry.
Yeah.
Where you said it's create a GPT, chat GPT?
Top right,
Mm-hmm.
and then it says yours might say create GPTs. Mine says my GPTs because I already have it. So yours might say create GPTs.
I don't see that. I see customized chat GPT. Is that
You may need, your plan may not be at the level. Let me see. Are you on the $20 plan or the $10 plan?
I'm on the no money plan.
So if you are not paying, they're not going to let you make a custom GPT.
Okay. Should I try to do it on the one I am paying for?
Yes, I would.
I don't. Okay. I'll have to look around. Sorry.
It's okay. Does anyone have a paid GPT? Just so I know what folks are working with.
Yes, we have a paid one.
Okay. Let me share my screen again. All right, so top right, click. Yours may say create GPTs, mine says my GPTs. And then once you're in there, we're gonna click create GPT. So we're gonna call this, well, this is the name of the organization, Soccer Without Borders. We are an international nonprofit organization that uses software to as a youth development and cross-cultural tool. You can, you're gonna say here what your organization does. And then we are going to upload some files. So here's what I'm gonna upload. I'm gonna upload their annual report. I'm going to upload their methods and theory of change, their mission and values. I'm gonna upload a grant. I'm gonna upload a report on their work. I'm gonna upload 3 years of 990s. I'm gonna upload, I don't know what this one is, audited financials and focus group transcript. You can decide how little or how much information you want to upload into your custom GPT. Did it add those files is the question. Maybe it only let me add one at a time. Yep, it'll only let me add one at a time. So hold on 1 second. Hopefully I'm getting them all because of my age. Hold on, report 991. Give me 1 second, y'all. Just uploading these files. Now, one thing I don't like about it is it doesn't allow you to see the full name. So govern yourself accordingly on being able to know what you're uploading. And then remember I said, I'm saying don't use my conversation data to improve your model. That's my personal choice. You all can make your choice. I would recommend you not check that box. Any questions about this piece of the work? All right. Alrighty. So somebody give me a question. What would you want to know about this nonprofit? Maybe a question someone asked your nonprofit. I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna ask it to create an impact statement for Soccer Without Borders. Let's start there. Now I'm in my GPT, and so it is pulling from my information to create the impact statement. So unlike if you're just using ChatGPT, it might pull from the internet, it might pull from any other place. This is going to use Soccer Without Borders language to create this document. So think about if someone asked you in your day job to create an impact statement, how long would that take you to get that task done? And here we have it. All right. A holistic evidence-based approach serves newcomer, refugee, immigrant, and underserved youth by combining sport, education, community building. It's engaged nearly 7,800 youth, delivering over 5,600 hours of soccer, More than 90% report that they feel a sense of trust and belonging. Outcomes that transcends the field and impact their everyday lives. What sets them apart is their deeply relational and culturally responsive model. They're trained in their own family framework that centers healing, inclusion, and personal growth. Programs are co-created with communities, blah, 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 right? So it's not just saying we're a great organization. It is actually pulling the data out of their documents to create this. And that made that in what, 60 seconds? That would have took you an hour, a day of work, et cetera, et cetera. It asked, would you like a shorter version or a more firmer one for a grant proposal? I'm gonna ask it to move in a different direction. I'm gonna ask it, what do the financials tell us about this? What do the financials say about Soccer Without Borders financial health? Let's see. So it's looking at their audited financials because I uploaded their audit, and it's looking at their 990s. So it says their revenue has grown steadily. 95% of their revenue comes from contributions and grants. They've secured a $1 million gift from Mackenzie Scott. Their expenses are responsible. 80% of their expenses are program related. They invest significantly in staff and infrastructure. They have surpluses. Here are their assets. Their audit was clean, which is good. Funders like to see that. And then they gave a summary. again, a minute of your time to do that work. Let's now go back to the main screen. So if you are on the main screen, you can still use your custom GPT. So, you know what I just did, y'all? Hold on. I was like, did I? I don't think I saved my GPT. Y'all, I just did that and didn't save my GPT. Do not do what I did and go hit the back button. But thankfully, I already have one made for it, so we can keep going. When you're on the main screen, so when you just log into ChatGPT, you don't have to always click over to the right to go to your GPT. It will now be live on the left if you save it. And so you can always work from the main screen and only use your information. Right? So let's do this prompt. Please create a fundraising appeal for a new individual giving campaign. Give the campaign a name that aligns with our organization. Let's see what it does. Play it forward. Okay, play it forward is one of their phrases that they use already at Soccer Without Borders. All right. A campaign to build belonging through soccer. It has its email subject line, the body of the email. Okay. Your gift will would you like to turn into a series of email? Actually, I would like you to amend this and include a short youth testimonial. Let's see. If I have any testimonials in my GPT, I may not. Okay, so it has a quote. So my question to you, is this a real quote or did you make this up? That quote is real. It comes from the annual report. Awesome. So one of the things, and there's a term, I can't think of the name right now, but sometimes it will make up things. So I often ask for a citation or a quote. So say I was analyzing a focus group, I would ask it, make sure you give me the citation, because the GPT wants to please me. It wants to make me happy. And so that's why you always have to fact check when you are getting information out of your searches and your queries. So now that I know this is real, I will say, thank you. Please turn this email into a series with the frequency that we should send them out and a social media campaign. All right, let's see what it comes up with. All right. Okay, we're going to do 4 emails over 3 weeks. We're going to keep it simple. This is a launch email, so I guess we're using the first email. This is email 2. We have a new stat. Email 3. We're gonna have a 3-week social media campaign that aligns with the email. Hashtag play it forward, SWB, like it. And it's telling me what I should do, right? So it's not creating the video for me. I can tell you and share with you a couple AI editing platforms that we've used that could actually get you the videos for this. But it's telling you what the focus of the video should be. This is encouraging you to use a poll or a quiz so to get some interaction on your socials, include the graphic, and then a link to your donate page. So it's doing all of this for you. So in theory, you could export this into whatever platform you're using. You may need to edit and tweak, but it is outlined it for you, right? So you don't have to necessarily always come up with your own plan. You're able to take this as a launch point. And then it's asking, do you want templates or a Canva mockup of the quote cards? It can help with those too. So Canva does have a plugin. You'll see it here on the left. I've never used Canva on here. So let's say, yes, I'd love a Canva mockup. And let's see if it can actually do that. Sometimes it says it can do things and it does not able to deliver. So it's just, oh, wait, wait, maybe it's gonna do it. I haven't liked most AI visuals, so we'll see. Yep, don't like it. So AI images have a long way to come. There's no way we would use this for any purposes. It can never get letters right for whatever reason. Because Dolly has a long way to go. So I would say I do not like this graphic. I'll just use the text. And sometimes it'll respond or it was like, do you want me to try again? It says totally fair. It knew it was wrong for that. And then I can copy and paste. At the top right, usually at the beginning of your search, it's usually a button somewhere that I can't see with my screen. But you can always copy and paste if you need. But where is down here. At the end of your prompt, you can hit copy and then you can drop that whatever you want. And when you get a bad output, you can vote it down. And so I'll go back to this image and I will vote it down because I didn't like the image. So yeah. Any questions about this? Is anyone playing around with this? Or are y'all just looking at me play around with it? Yeah, Dory, I have not used Canva's AI. The only thing I've used AI for in Canva is sometimes I'll ask it to edit my copy because I tend to be a little bit more wordy. And so it'll streamline, make it more concise, more punchy.
Well, in that case, how is that different from, like, why would you do that in Canva and not here?
I wouldn't. I would do most of my things here and then move it to Canva. That's why I haven't used Canva.
Okay. I thought that's what you were saying, is that you used Canva for that.
No,
Okay.
it just has Canva now, but I've never actually used Canva in here. We can use a pre-generated one and see if it can do anything.
I've used Canva for trying to do images, and it's similar. It just AI has just not gotten good related to images.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it hasn't. That's why I haven't spent the time. I tried to make graphics for other things and it's just never worked out. The other thing I want to note is when you leave a chat, you can come back to the chat. So I could come back to the play it forward chat and say, can you edit the email templates to be more more fully? Let's say that. It's saying the bullets are not sufficient. So you can go back into a query, even if you've left it. You can go back a month from now. What it's not good at is if you've had to create a document and you come back a month from now, that document is not going to be there. So just be mindful of, you may have to copy the query again. I also keep a list in my Asana of like frequent prompts, because a lot of this depends on the prompt. If your prompt is too broad or too narrow, you're not going to get good input. And so I've learned how to give good prompts so I get better outputs. And that just takes practice. And the more you use it, the better you should be getting with your prompts. So what I told it was, I didn't like how it just gave me bullets for the emails. I wanted to flush the emails out. So that's what I wanted it to go back to do, to actually give me the body of the emails. What I like about this is its emails aren't long, because a lot of times our nonprofit emails are like a page long and people don't have a lot of time to read, right? People want something quick. They want to see what the impact is, and they want a one-click give. If they have to click 3 and 4 clicks to make a donation, you're gonna lose them. And so when it says give now, don't send them to the website that then they're gonna have to click another tab to get to the give. Send them directly to the place where they can put in their information to make the donation. Let's see, someone has a question in the chat. Yeah, oh yeah, Bridget commenting about Canva. Any other questions about the custom GPT? Any reactions to it if you've never used it or have never had a custom GPT? If not, I will go briefly to Claude. So Claude is a different, again, output. Let's think. Will you create a scope? What was my, let's see, let me go back to my previous leadership scope. So I do this often. I will ask a different GPT the same question. So let's ask it the same thing I asked chat about creating a scope, because I have a custom GPT in Claude. I like it. I like it. I like it. So it does outline my approach. Then it says, what do I do? How often we work together. Yep. How we do follow up, expected outcomes, and the investment. Like, so in Claude, it's the bottom left where your name is, and then you go to settings. And then when you go into settings, it asks what personal preferences should Claude consider in responses. So I copied and pasted the same basic. I didn't put all of the same content, but I speak in a style similar to Minda Harts and Tabitha Brown. Like, I wanted to know to not be too formal. And then for appearance, where else did I think there was somewhere else where I made my content. Let me see. Maybe not, maybe not. I guess that's all I put in Claude. Oh, no. Let me go back to Claude. Claude also has where you can use a project and it also has your recent chats, but I have some other info in Claude, but I don't know where it is right now. I don't know where it is right now. All right. Well, I will take us out of Claude and quickly show you Gemini. So Gemini is Google's. Gemini's custom GPT is called Gems. So top, bottom left also. And so I copied the same information. I said, how do I edit my gem is the question. 3 dots, edit. I said the same thing. I copied and pasted this right out of ChatGPT, right? So I'm not asking it to telling it different things about myself. And then with the knowledge, I put my one pager. It actually had ChatGPT create my one pager off of my website, and I can show you how I did that. But if we go into my gem, and then we sorry, this is moving so fast. And then we ask it the same scope of work question. Let's see what Gemini comes up with. Much more robust here in the introduction. My coaching approach, services. I don't like this output nearly as much, but it's not bad. And then it's telling me where it got this info from. So this is from my website. That's also from my website. Right. So it didn't just, because I don't have a lot of attachments in my GPT. So it pulled more from my website than from my custom GPT, but it's still accurate because that's where it went. In here, you could say, Dory, what is your website?
It's thearchouston.org.
That's right. The Arc Houston.
Yes.
All right. Let's see what it comes up with. So Claude is not good at searching websites, so I go to ChatGPT for that. All right. So if you didn't have a one pager,
That's cool.
here is a one pager, and it's telling you where it pulled from. Instagram, your website. So this is what I tell folks. If your website is out of date, this is where funders get info about you. This is where ChatGPT gets info about you. And so you want to make sure that anything that's public facing about your organization has the most accurate info about your programming, your leadership, and your organization, because that's where it's going to come from. So as funders start to use ChatGPT, if they want to use it to do a synopsis, a summary document on an organization they're interested in, this is where they're going to look, right? And so this is also a good reminder about how we need to have our content as updated as possible, or just take down the old stuff, right? Like even if you don't have money to build out a whole new site, just making sure the things that are inaccurate are not there is going to help you.
Kelly,
Yeah.
something interesting.
Uh-huh.
I see aogh.org on there a lot.
Uh-huh.
And that was our old website, and it's been shut down for a little bit. So
And ChatGPT is about a year and a half behind. So the question then becomes, if it pulled off, what was it, AOG what?
AOGH.org.
Um, uh,
I mean, you can't pull it up because
Yeah.
it's
so yeah, that's gonna be a challenge. Because it's pulling back info. It's always gonna be a couple years behind. So yeah, that will be a pain point for sure. Also, Wayback Machine is probably where it's getting some of this. Have you used Wayback? So there's a website called Wayback Machine that you can go back and get old content that's no longer available on the internet because nothing's ever really gone. I don't know if y'all knew that. So this would be a pain point to think through in terms of how you can course correct, right? I think the bigger question is this still accurate even though that page is down? Because what I can say is the AOGH.org site has been deactivated. Please do not include that information. And let's see. Yep, it's still there. A little bit better in terms of not pulling from it, except for that one source. So yeah, Dory, I can share. So it does allow you to share. You can make your links public or you can make them private. If you want it to be public, you click that checkbox. I am not doing that. But Dory, I'll put the link in the chat in case you just want to look at it to see if the output was anything useful.
okay. And it'll show both?
Yes.
Okay,
First chat would be at the top.
gotcha. Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Any other questions or ideas people have about how they can use the tool? Dory, since you've been the only person talking to me, I'm curious if you're getting any ideas of how you might want to use this for some of the things in your FLA in your plan.
Sorry, I was eating my salad.
It's okay.
So I did, while you were doing that, I did look around at the platform that we're paying for,
Huh?
and I could not find anything similar to what you were doing as far as building customization. So I
Okay.
think the first thing we'll do is probably find a platform that works to be able
Okay.
to have more customization.
Okay. And you said you're using ChatGPT?
We're paying for Pro AI.
Pro AI. I don't know that platform.
Yeah. And I don't even know how I found it, but
Bridget, have you heard of Pro AI?
probably something so random we shouldn't even be
Oh.
using
No, I have not.
it. I'm like the only person in.
Dory,
There are so many. There are so
Is
many
there?
today. There's so many different ones. Yes.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that it's not good, but I would say if you can't customize it, it's
Yeah.
not going to be nearly as helpful.
Yeah. I just couldn't find a way to, but you know, as we try to look at more webinars and workshops, and we want to be on something, you know, that people are referring to as far as training goes.
Yeah.
So,
I will briefly share, since we have like 3 minutes left. There are a couple platforms that you can use for video AI editing. So one is called Veed, VEED.io. I think Veed would be interesting for y'all. So Veed allows you to pull up upload a video. So say you had a presentation or you all had an event, you can upload the video into Veed, and then Veed will use AI to auto-generate clips for you that you can then use on your social media. I can briefly share my screen in our last 2 minutes just to give you an idea of what's possible. So we had an event a couple weeks ago, and I uploaded the video, and then this was a conversation about difficult conversations with teenagers. And so this is just a intro clip where the person was talking about her organization.
So if you're familiar with the civil rights movement, I would tell you during this time, it is making me remember everything that I ever remembered about or learned about the civil rights movement.
So I didn't do any editing. I didn't even add the captions. It did all of that. Right. The only thing I did was press record on Zoom and record to the cloud, because Zoom allows you to record individual speakers. And so this is one speaker in the conversation, and it used AI to determine which clips would be most popular on the different social platforms. And then I got to say, actually, based on our audience, this other clip will be better. So it gave me like 10 different clips to choose from. And then all I had to do was download it. And those platforms usually cost between $30 and $50 a month. So if you are a group that has a lot of video content, but you can't afford video editing, some of these platforms now, a lot of these platforms now are using AI to be able to do that. So we'll also share some of those links for those of you who need some of those resources as well. Awesome.
And Kelly, I went in and just real simple, put in a couple of documents in our website and playing around with the one pager, and it seems pretty good, good start. I think I need more info in there, but this is my first time ever on GPT. So I found it interesting.
Excellent. And I tell people it's a thought partner. Like Bridget and I, we talk back and forth to the AI. Like we'll be like, I don't like that. Can you make this more clear? Sometimes I'm like, try again. Like I didn't like any of that. And so it really is having a conversation with the tool, because it is a language learning model, right? So it is giving you, it's not thinking, it's putting together words based on the patterns of how you communicate. And so it wants to please you as a tool. As much as a tool can have a personality, that is its desire. So giving it the feedback and having it try again is also an important part of that. So kudos for giving it a try, Angie.
So just trying, does it save this chat too? Will it save it forever somewhere where we can go back and look at it?
Yep, so it'll be on the left-hand side of your screen when you log in or when you're on your platform. So you can go back to that chat. You may want to go back in and say, hey, add in information about such and such, or you can add a document and say, incorporate this new information about our organization. So you can go back to old chats. And then I would just say, just like any other, like your Google folder, whatever, we want to have hygiene about our chats. So you don't want to have 10,000 chats on the side. So just being mindful that, it's not good yet with folders. And so the search has gotten better. So you don't want to lose your content. But the more and more you use it, the more you will have just a running list of things on the side.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for being here. It was great to see everyone. I hope that this was helpful. We will add the recording to the portal so you all can share it with your team, or if you want to go back and practice along with the screen. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
Have a great rest of the day, y'all.